going on? Let me see. Should I read the email?
And open up the read the email and then open up the video and read the title.
Oh gosh, hook in the jaw. Russia threatens to enter Israel war. Oh gosh. 7 exclamation points.
Is it 7? I didn't realize that.
Wow, this is a huge sign. Seemingly, Gog of Magog is ready to enter the stage. Let me open up the video.
All is calm because they're having a conversation, but here it is. What's the title say?
Putin threatens to enter war, ? Russia warns Netanyahu, Trump, Israel, Iran war, Khomeini. Oh, man. A mess. And so there you go. Khomeini is Iran. So you got Persia and Gog of Magog, right? And those are the 2 players. The only one missing at this point, they could join later, Turkey, the House of Tagarma.
Yeah. Well, we just, the Gog Magog thing for any kind of, any hint that he's going to enter the war, that's another sign that we are very, very, very close to, all of this going down.
Let's just play this here.
If you have the opportunity to speak to the members of this agency, what would you say to them? What is your message? What is the task? Do you consider such a NATO rearmament a threat to Russia?
We do not consider any NATO rearmament a threat to the Russian Federation because we are self-sufficient in terms of ensuring our security, and we are constantly improving our armed forces and our defensive capabilities. Whatever NATO does, of course, it creates a certain threat, but we are coping with all these threats that will arise. There is no doubt about that. In this sense, any rearmament and an increase in NATO budget by up to 5% from the GDP do not make any sense. This is the first point. The second point, you know, for centuries, unfortunately, this is how I can fully affirm this, for centuries in the West, all the time, not all the time, but from time to time, there has always been a question of a threat from Russia. It was so convenient for the Western elites to build their own internal policy, because on the basis of a possible threat from the East, it was always possible to extort money from taxpayers and to explain one's own economic mistakes with a threat from the East. If you look at historical books, we will come to the conclusion that from time to time, this issue has always been raised. It is clear that today's crisis in relations between Russia and Western Europe began in 2014. But the problem is not that Russia annexed Crimea, but that Western countries contributed to the coup d'etat in Ukraine. You know, we have always heard that it is necessary to live by the rules. By what rules? But what kind of rule is it when 3 states, France, Germany, and Poland, came to Kiev and, as guarantors, signed a paper on the agreements between the opposition and the authorities headed by President Yanukovych? 3 states signed it, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs. A colleague from the Federal Republic of Germany is looking at me. Mr. Steinmeier was then the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Can be found in general. As you know, at one time, we intercepted a project in Iran, which was carried out by German companies and completed the Bucha nuclear power plant. The German companies left, and the Iranians asked us to continue. This was difficult, because what the German specialists were doing was their design, and Rosatom had to make a lot of effort to adapt it all to the Russian design. Nevertheless, we did it, and this unit is working, and it is working successfully. We have signed a contract for the construction of 2 more units. The work is underway, and our specialists are on site. This is more than 200 people, and we have agreed with the Israeli leadership that their safety will be ensured. In general, it seems to me that, given Iran's plans to continue the use and development of nuclear energy, including in agriculture, medicine, and so on. But this is not nuclear energy. And in nuclear energy, we could, together with Iran. Why do I think so? Because the level of trust between our countries is quite high. We have a very good relationship with Iran. We could continue this work and ensure their interests in this area. I will not go into details now, there are many of them, and we discussed all these details with the Israeli side and with the American side, and we also sent certain signals to our Iranian friends. In general, we can ensure Iran's interests in the field of nuclear energy. At the same time, we can take care of Israel's safety. In my opinion, there are such options. I repeat, we have offered them to our partners, the United States, Israel, and Iran.
Can you believe he just said we will guarantee Israel's safety?
Safety. So,
Oh
yeah.
my word.
So that is a Gog-esque way of getting trust. He's talking about Iran trusting him and the two nations having this trust to keep safe. Is this peace and safety? I mean,
This is part of it. But did you ever imagine that Putin would enter the peace and safety realm? I never expected that.
Yeah.
I thought the hook would be in and he would just come, but he is coming, but he's coming a different way.
Let's just read something here.
Wow.
This leads into something. So the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog. There it is right on the screen. The land of Magog, the land of Russia. Chief prince of Meshach, Moscow, and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog. So whatever's going on here, God is against. That's what we got to realize.
Right.
No matter how great it sounds, and peace guarantees and all that.
True.
The chief prince of Meshach, he is the chief prince, he's the head, he's the president. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth. This is part of that protection. So he's kind of under the table saying this.
Yes.
Persia, there it is, Persia in verse 5, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. So now we're to look for what? For Ethiopia to join in. This is going now. It's peace and safety being said from the Gog side.
Let me interject this.
All right, go ahead.
He rightfully has to say that because they did not veto the UN peace and safety deal, the Gaza deal, right?
Right.
They essentially approved it by abstaining.
Right.
And not rejecting it. So he's using their peace and safety deal to worm his way in.
That's exactly right. And it's like Trump and him are kind of like the 20-point peace plan is Trump's. He didn't disagree to it,
Nope.
Right? Abstained, and China. So now they have their in Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, and with them, and the shield and buckler helmet. Gomer, all the bands of Togarmah. So there's the next one after the first one, of course, is already in the bag because that's where he's going. He's going to Persia. And the other name is Togarmah, which is Turkey, of the North Quarters, and all his bands and many people. So look for Erdogan to come in to this particular peace, safety, Trojan horse, if you will. That's what's going on. This is a Trojan horse, peace and safety. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee. We're looking at Persia and the other countries that will assemble. Got Ethiopia, you got Libya. This is part of where Russia's interests are.
What we're seeing is Russia come onto the stage now.
That's for sure. And it's right on the picture screen, right here.
Right here.
And after many days thou shalt be visited in the latter years. We are in the latter years. We're not quite in the 7 years, but we're close. We're darn close. The latter years thou shalt come, we know, into
the latter
the
years of history, the latter years of being on earth.
Of man's history in before the 1,000 years. That's where we are. There's got to be a 7-year period. So thou be visited in the latter years. Thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword and gathered out of many peoples, and against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste. But it is brought forth out of the nations and they shall dwell safely, all of them. So this is what's going on. There's a move of peace and safety. Started with Trump's 20-point peace plan, the Gaza, and taking care of that mess. And now we have Russia, Gog of Magog, smoothly moving into under the heading of peace and security for their nuclear program, right?
Makes you wonder how soon the Ukraine war will end so Russia can move in with all its might and all its, its concentration on Israel and Iran.
That's right. And
they've got to come to an end.
Bro, this is like history. We're watching history. I love it.
I think so.
This is right on the cuff. Watch where this is going to go, though. So this is interesting. So verse 10 says, "Thus saith the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time," this is what's going on right now. This is at that time, the same time. At the same time, things shall come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. Think about that. And thou shalt think an evil thought. Why did they abstain from that peace plan?
Right, because the evil thought came in.
There it is. Hey, if I let them take care of the Gaza situation, which is a mess for any nation, but all the nations backed it. The movement is happening, and we're watching it form. That's it.
So let me throw this in there. What do you think Trump's going to be thinking when he's already heard this? I'm sure. Okay? Oh yeah, because they got a representative there from the United States. But the point is that now he's going to eat that up, right?
Yeah.
We're going to have Russia come in under that same peace and safety thing.
And he's going to allow it.
He's going to allow it.
Doesn't that bring a peace from the north, from Persia? Doesn't that change things with Persia as far as a safety guarantee for Israel?
Sure. And because of that peace and safety guarantee, who do you think's now going to sign that Abraham Accord?
There it is, Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
And having neither bars nor gates, to take a spoil and to take a prey.
Mm-hmm.
A spoil is basically, well, if he's going to be tight with Iran, then he has oil. Then he's got a connection right in there to oil. He can take oil. And, that's, what is it? 20% of the world's oil or something goes through the Persian Gulf there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot going on with the taking a spoil, Doesn't mean they have to be a war to take it. It can be coming under this peace and safety heading. But it will come. The actual war part will come. But there has to be a 3.5-year period. There has to be, because Israel's got to dwell safely. They've got to be safety guaranteed so that they feel comfortable. They've got to take care of the Gaza situation. And there's going to be a temple built.
Do you think it odd? No coincidence that all of a sudden Russia shows up and they're saying peace and safety just after Saudi Arabia, the prince said, well, I have to have that guarantee of the Palestinian state, and I'm not signing until then. Now, all of a sudden, you got Russia come into the picture. Do you think maybe those two are kind of
they're building a house,
communicating together?
They're building a house, aren't they?
They're building a house.
But there you go. The peace plan is all about, 20-point peace plan, peace in Israel, a temple for this is happening. It's happening.
You see the cunning. You see the cunning. Did you really believe, though, that Putin would go for the Trump Gaza build all by himself? Do you think that he would allow that?
Or China?
Or China.
Why would China? There's underlying motives here.
Sure.
Definitely.
That's how the enemy works.
So, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations which have gotten cattle, goods, and dwell in the midst of the land, Sheba and Dedan. You know what Sheba and Dedan is? It's Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. And the merchants of Tarshish. And, by the way, Tarshish is thought to be Britain. Merchant.
Oh, interesting.
Tarshish. With all the young lions, those are the new, you got the United States, the young lions, any new nation comparatively to ancient, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Young lions thereof shall they say unto thee, art thou come to take a spoil?
It's a pompous comment, right? Right. So the burglary has been set up, right?
Yeah, right. Oh, really? Have you come to take something?
Oh, surprise.
Yeah, not really. We knew all along you were going to come to take a spoil, and that's all part of it.
And there you go. If the good man of the house had known.
There it is. When the thief was going to come, and we have a connection. This is all part of a false peace, bringing in peace. If there's guarantees by this nation, guarantees by that, we've got the 20-point peace plan with all the nations backing it. It's going to be a peace. It's going to be a forced peace in a way, and there will be peace. That's the thing. There has to be, absolutely, according to the Bible, according to the narrative of the Bible, there has to become. You can't build a third temple unless everyone's agreeing and at peace with each other. You just can't. That's why they haven't built a temple, because it's always been chaotic in the Middle East. They could never do it. Even when they, went in 1967, the stories go that they wanted to blow up the mosque. And, oh, no, don't do that. That'll cause World War III. And, so they've always been sensitive in this issue. But now, doesn't it seem like peace is breaking out, brother? I mean, this is part of the...
It's unbelievable to see this clip this early this morning. And let me add this, too. You talked about those African nations, right, coming with Gog, Sudan.
Yeah.
Well, let me point out again, where did Russia flee to when they left Syria to Libya? So they've got their bases and everything else. Where's Libya? Northern tip there.
So anyway, here's the rest of the thing. So they ask... So Saudi Arabia, Sheba and Dedan say, have you come to take a spoil? And hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, and to take away cattle and goods, and to take a great spoil? Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto God, this guy right here, right? Looking at. So thus saith the Lord, in that day when my people of Israel dwell safely. This is part of them dwelling safely. When people start talking peace and safety, right? Sudden destruction. But just got to be a period of time of relative peace and safety. That can't happen until the rapture happens, because there will not be, I don't believe that we'll see, okay, we're going to build a temple today. I don't think we'll go that far. But in that day, when the people of Israel dwell safely, shalt thou not know it. Why wouldn't he know it? The man is talking about giving them security and safety guarantees as long as they're building they have 200 people. They don't want people getting blown up or radiation or whatever leaking out if they're building a nuclear plant. So we're probably looking at the move of...
Oh, it has to be.
To say his assembly, his people.
It's all part of what we talked about, the covenant right moments, the timing of everything, right?
Yeah.
There's appointed times, because we don't have all this movement with this peace and safety, the Gaza deal, all of this through the UN with Saudi Arabia. Then all of a sudden, now here we have that link, Putin showing up. So that's not by mistake. None of this is.
It's got to be a few years before that happens. That's all they know. Wait, God's going to bring them against. So what we're seeing is a move of God here.
The hand of God.
Hand of God is moving. Gog of Magog, he's moving him in, and it's setting up with Persia. And you watch and see if Turkey doesn't join.
Do you remember a couple weeks ago, I sent you that short video about the chess player, the artwork on the wall, and a champion chess player was staring at that piece of artwork and looked at the board because they had interpreted the painting different. And he saw it different because he knew that by examining that board, God had one more move on the chessboard. Remember that?
Yeah, that's right. One more move. Yeah. That was an interesting video.
The game of chess. This is what's happening.
But let's see. So thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me. The heathen may know me. When I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. God will be made great because it's in his word. Just like when Cyrus, right? Cyrus was in the word well before he even was born. And, they showed him. They say, this is you in Isaiah 45. So God's showing us right now, this is what's happening. Wow. I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O God, before their eyes. Thus saith the Lord God, art thou he of whom I have spoken in old time by my servants and the prophets of Israel, which prophesied in those days many years that I would bring thee against them? This is like words just like it would be speaking to Cyrus in that day, right? You know what? He's speaking to Putin. I got to tell you, I think Putin already knows this. I think he knows. I think he knows Ezekiel. He's a Christian, supposedly. Someone has shared this with him, I'm sure. Thus saith the Lord God, art thou he of whom I have spoken? God's asking. It's like he's asking me, aren't you the one I'm talking about?
Yeah. As we talk, there's more things that just come to mind, and I think I watched something yesterday, another short video about how parts of NATO over there in Europe, especially Poland and Germany and all of those, are considering a preeminent strike against Russia.
Wow.
What better way for Russia to come and change gears all of a sudden?
Yeah.
This is the hand of God. There's no doubt.
Well, for sure. And it shall come to pass at the same time, there it is again, the same time, when Gog shall come up against, of course, that can be a few years down the road yet, brothers and sisters, against the land of Israel. Because remember, he's not coming against him. So right now it's kind of joining in the peace process. That's the way to look at it. Right now we're looking at this as a joining of the peace process. They accepted the 20-point peace plan by Trump, and now they didn't accept, they abstained, but they did the same as accepting it, because it's their thought that they'll move and place those security guarantees so that the 20-point peace plan, it'll help the 20-point peace plan, right? If you can calm the situation in Iran, that's one of the biggest problems is Iran. So if you're joining with Iran, and Turkey has said just recently, Turkey was in the news about, go in the military way and bring peace into that Gaza. So they're front and center. So it's a plan. It's coming together, and we're watching it.
Yeah, this is a massive move.
So last few verses here, I'll read it. So, for in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath, this is why it cannot happen. Think of God's wrath, right? We're not appointed to his wrath, but in the fire of his wrath, it says, in my jealousy, in the fire of my wrath, shall have I spoken. Surely in that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel. Now we could go into many rabbit trails. I know I can.
Sure.
But the great shaking in the land of Israel.
What we're seeing here is we're watching Gog enter the fray. This is huge.